It started with a single photo. No warning, no build-up, no controversy, at least not at first. Just a post. A simple image uploaded by Olivia Dunne, holding a can of Miller Lite. Within minutes, the numbers began to climb. 10,000 views, 50,000, 100,000. And then, something strange happened. The internet didn't just notice the photo. It reacted, exploded, argued, divided. Because by the time the clock hit just a few hours, that one image had already crossed 1.9 million views. But what no one realized at that moment was that this wasn't just about a photo. It was about power, influence, and a line that had quietly been crossed. And what happened next changed everything in today's world. Attention is currency. And few people understand that better than Olivia Dunne. To some, she's a college athlete. To others, she's a social media phenomenon. But to brands, she's something else entirely. A bridge between sports, youth culture, and millions of eyes scrolling every second. So when that photo with Miller Lite went live, it wasn't random. It wasn't accidental. And it definitely wasn't small. Because behind that single image was a system, a strategy, and a question that no one could ignore anymore. Where does influence end and responsibility begin? To understand why this photo mattered, you have to understand Olivia. Before the sponsorships, before the viral posts, before the millions of followers, there was just a gymnast. Early mornings, long practices, the quiet discipline of repetition. The kind of life where success isn't guaranteed. It's earned, one routine at a time. But Olivia wasn't just training her body. She was building something else, something far more unpredictable. An audience. It started small. A few posts, a few likes, friends, classmates, fans of gymnastics. But slowly, something shifted. Her content wasn't just being watched. It was being shared, amplified, recommended. And then one day, without warning, she crossed into a different category entirely. Not just an athlete, a creator. And in today's world, that changes everything. Because creators don't just perform. They influence. They shape opinions. They move culture. And most importantly, they move markets. Brands noticed. Of course they did. Because attention like that is rare and incredibly valuable. Soon, deals started coming in. Partnerships, endorsements, campaigns. Each one bigger than the last. Each one pushing her further from just college athlete into something much larger, something harder to define, something powerful. But with that power came pressure, invisible at first, then undeniable. Because every post now had meaning, every image carried weight, and every decision had consequences, even if no one realized it yet. The photo itself looked harmless, casual, relaxed. Olivia, smiling, holding a can of Miller Lite. No bold statement, no controversy in the caption. Just a moment. But the internet doesn't see moments the way people do. It analyzes. It questions. It reacts. At first, the comments were predictable. Supportive fans, compliments, excitement, people celebrating her success. But then, the tone began to shift. Slowly, subtly. One comment questioned the message. Another asked about the audience. Then came the comparisons, the debates, the screenshots. Because here's what people started to realize. Olivia's audience wasn't just adults. It included teenagers, young fans, people who looked up to her not just as an influencer, but as a role model. And suddenly, that simple photo didn't feel so simple anymore. Because now, it wasn't just a brand partnership. It was something bigger. A collision between influence and responsibility. And no one could agree on where the line should be. Some argued it was completely normal. Athletes endorse products all the time. Why should this be different? Others weren't so sure. They saw something else. A shift. A signal. That the rules of influence were changing faster than anyone could keep up. And right in the center of it all was Olivia. Watching it unfold. Comment by comment. Reaction by reaction. Millions of views climbing higher. While the conversation grew louder. More intense. More divided. But what no one expected was what would happen next. Because this wasn't just about public opinion anymore. Behind the scenes, something else was happening. Something quiet. Something calculated. Something that would turn this moment into something much bigger than a viral post. Because here's the part most people never see. When a post like that goes viral, it doesn't just reach fans. It reaches brands, agencies, competitors, media outlets, people who don't just watch trends, they shape them. And to them, this wasn't just a photo. It was data, proof, evidence of something powerful. Because 1.9 million views? That's not luck. That's influence at scale. And in a world driven by attention, that kind of reach changes decisions, budgets, strategies, careers. Suddenly, Olivia wasn't just part of the system. She was influencing it. And that's where things became complicated. Because influence like that doesn't exist in isolation. It creates ripple effects, questions, concerns, opportunities, and risks, all at the same time. And the biggest question of all was one no one had a clear answer to. What happens when the line between athlete, influencer, and advertiser completely disappears? Because that's exactly what this moment was beginning to expose.